Hello and welcome to another lockdown episode of the Robin's Nest podcast. It's Downsy here. We'll introduce you to our guest, who is also at their home, and by the wonders of modern technology, we will be able to speak to them. Firstly, thank you very much for downloading, for subscribing, and for listening. And if you're a City fan and you haven't done so yet, spread the word. Something else to do during this lockdown time. Hopefully, you're all staying at home, only going out for essential reasons, of course, whether it be for essential food, whether it be for medical care, if you're one of our amazing key workers. One of the things that's been going on at Ashton Gate, in fact, is it's a hive of activity now. Loads of stuff going on down there, including providing food for essential key workers. It's also a testing site now, a drive-through testing site. And one of the people that has been volunteering and helping out for these wonderful charities is none other than our assistant head coach and subject of today's podcast, Jamie McAllister. Hello, sir.
Hi, Downsy. How you doing? Hope everyone's well.
Very well. Looking very sharp, can we say? Have you had a home trim ready for this podcast?
I have, mate, yeah. I let the wife and the son loose on the hair last night with the clippers. Done quite a good job, actually.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we all agree. Yeah, you're looking good. And tell us a little bit about, first of all, before we crack into you and your career, tell us a little bit about what's going on down at Ashton Gate at the moment, because you were down there helping out, weren't you?
Yeah, I was down helping out with Scotty, Joe, James, Kasia, Suze. They're doing a great job down there with the food parcels, send them out to people that need them. Got a great operation going, nice and smooth. They send out an unbelievable amount of parcels to help people that need it. And it's great to see. I mean, times like this when everyone come together and you realise what's important in life, and to help others. If you're in a good position, you can go and help others, and that's what we're all doing. We're all trying to do that down at Ashton Gate. So it's tough times, but we're there to help others.
And one of the other things that some of the lads are doing as well is they're on the phones wishing some of our fans a happy birthday. I think it's 1,200 of them wishing them well from the club, which is another fantastic thing for the club to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great idea. And we're doing that all through all the groups. So all the players and staff, and after a few phone calls wishing people happy birthday. And it's amazing to hear their voice when speaking to you. Not that many understand me. Same with this podcast, you might have to get some subtitles up, mate. But yeah, to give everyone a little bit of cheer. It's a great idea, and Matt Parsons doing a great job on that side of it as well. So fair play.
I think Matt Parsons is doing more work now than he's ever done in any of his previous years at the club, isn't he? Such a busy boy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's done amazing work since he came back to the club. And what he's doing now, yeah, it's fantastic. So very selfless, looking after others, and does a great job.
So how are you, Mac, personally coping with lockdown? We've seen on your Insta there's a fair amount of gymnastics going on. It must be, in a way, quite nice to be at home with the family. Obviously, we're all missing football. But how are the McAllisters coping with lockdown?
Yeah, it's been tough. The homeschooling. Got to take my hat off to all those teachers out there. It's incredible the job they do. Undervalued and underpaid, I would say. I'm taking care of the home ed, the physical education side of it, and my wife's doing all the other side. She's doing all the maths, history, homework and stuff like that. So my wife's now the teacher doing the homeschooling, and I'm doing all the fun bits, the bike rides, gymnastics in the garden, and also a little bit of art as well. I quite like my art, so I'm doing that side of it. But no, it's good fun to be home with the wife and kids, spend a lot of time on. I've loved that. But yeah, like you say, it's missing football as well. It's tough.
So how much contact are you in with the lads? We've had a few. We've had Rolsey on the podcast talking a little bit about it. And that contact is really important, isn't it, to keep in touch with the players? So how often are you speaking to them? What are they up to at the moment? How's their sort of home training going, etc.?
Yeah, we're in constant contact with the players, always setting little challenges and little tasks to do, whether it be tactical stuff or whether it be doing Zoom calls to do a bit of physical work. we're doing sessions now, like on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday with the lads, some circuits to keep them engaged and keep them occupied. Some of the lads are enjoying it, and most of the boys, the majority are missing football and desperate to get back. What it is with football is that they've got that structure every day, and to continue that structure at home alone is difficult. So we're putting these Zoom calls on to help the lads and give them a bit of company doing it as well, and a bit of encouragement. So it's been tough for them, but I'm sure we'll come through it stronger as a group, and kick on the last 9-12 games, hopefully, to get to the Premier League. We all want to be.
Well, let's go back to you. Let's go back to James Reynolds McAllister, born in Glasgow on the 26th of April, 1978, which means that Sunday was your birthday, right?
It was indeed, yeah. 21 again. It's my 21st.
Well, a very happy birthday for Sunday. How did you celebrate?
Thank you. We had a barbecue in the back garden. The weather was beautiful. My kids made me some lovely homemade presents, which were very thoughtful. My oldest daughter made me a little box, all handmade. She put 42 reasons in there, wrote them all out, why I'm a good dad, which
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to lie, I shed a few tears, mate. And my two other daughters done the same. So I got breakfast in bed, which was nice. My son just came in and went, "All right, Dad, high five." That was it. And the three girls were doting on me all day, as well as my wife. So, no, it was a lovely birthday in the sunshine, out in the back garden with the kids and my wife. Little barbecue and a few cheeky beers as well.
I love it. I love it. You obviously earlier on referred to your origins, obviously being a proud Scotsman, and that accent really hasn't gone, has it? That's really still thick as ever.
It's not. I thought it would. When I first came down, no one understood me. I mean, no one. So I've tried to speak a little bit slower, but as you can see, when I get excited, I speed up again. So, I've kept my accent. Obviously, I'm proud of where I came from, where I was born. Scotland's my home, but I would say Bristol now is home for us as a family. We've been down here 14 years and we absolutely love it. It's a great city, great people, and we won't move. Hopefully, we won't have to move. It's home for us and the kids now.
Take us back to those early days in Glasgow. Can you remember the first time you kicked a football about?
Yeah, very young. My mum actually showed me a picture the other day. I think I was only like 3 or 4, kicking a ball, and I had like a little tartan bonnet on. I'll try and get the picture actually, like yellow, green, and blue, little kind of bonnet on, vest on, as you can imagine. I don't know if I stuck with a nappy or a pair of shorts, kicking a ball. So yeah, I was probably only about 3 or 4 then. But no, I grew up loving football, like most of us did back then, and played every minute, every day. At school, anytime there was a break, a lunch, I was out playing football. You'd eat your lunch within 3 minutes or something, and then go out and have the other 57 minutes playing football. You come home from school, never done homework. Well, I did. No, chuck my bag in, get changed, down the park, until your mum calls you in for dinner. Get in, eat your dinner as quick as you can, back out with a ball, down the park again. And that was us to the lamppost come on, that was your time to go to bed. So, yeah, every minute, every day, just playing football. Loved it.
So, and that is the story of most kids' lives. But how do you make it then from being that kid that plays football in the playground to being the person that's playing professional football, in stadiums across the world? How did you know that was going to happen? How did you make it happen?
I didn't know it was going to happen. I always dreamt that was my dream, to be a professional footballer. Just hard work, dedication, and a little bit of luck. I would say I was never the most gifted, but I always pride myself in giving my all and working as hard as I could, trying to be fitter, stronger, learn the game, understand my position as much as I could, to give myself the best possible chance. And lucky enough, I got a few breaks along the way, that loads of setbacks, loads of knockbacks, which were tough, but it makes you more resilient and makes you want it more, I would say. So that drove me on to prove people wrong, after setbacks, and to kick on and believe that I could make it at some level.
How do you cope with those knockbacks? Obviously, there'll be some budding footballers that want to give it a go, whether semi-professional or professional, listening to this. How do you deal with those no's and those times when it seems like it's a real uphill climb?
Yeah, it's difficult, but like I say, it makes you more resilient. You either give up or you keep going and you work harder for it. It makes you made me more determined. Made me want it more. And then when I got there, I wasn't happy at the level I was at. I wanted to strive to be the best I could with the talent I had. I didn't have. Just wanted to make the most of what I had and get as high as possible. It just made me more determined to prove people wrong. Made me work harder, made me want it more, and then appreciate it more when I had it. I never wanted to let it go. So fortunate enough to play 20 years professional, which I loved. And to be fair, I miss it every day, not playing.
You began that senior career up at Queen of the South, 1996, and obviously a different time back then, I guess. Was football different then? I.e., the football that you see and you coach now. How big a sort of gap is there between what you started playing and what we play now?
I would say the money side of the game now is huge, isn't it? It's a business now. Back then, I'm not saying boys don't play for the love of the game now, but it's all about you play the game because you love it and you play for free. And there is still a lot of players that do that now, but I think the rewards in the game now are huge, are life changing, and some are motivated by that. Not all, but I would say that's secondary to the game. Those rewards come, financial rewards come if you're successful in what you do and you play games. For me, it was all about playing games and winning things, and looking back on your career and saying I played like 600 odd games, won this, I won that, and I played at this level, played against this player. So I think the biggest change now is the money side, I think. Yeah.
And I'll take you back to, I think it was the Scottish League Cup final, 6 games into your professional career. How was that? I mean, it must have been so early on to achieve such success, of course, after that first competitive appearance, which I am just reading, a late sub, you came on and it was a 4-0 win. So any great memories of those early days?
Yeah, it's Queen of the South at the time was a League 2 team. As I say, I'd signed S form, which is schoolboy form back then when I was at school with Motherwell Football Club. So I was due to go full time in Motherwell in the summer. I was leaving school, going to be schoolboy at Motherwell. And I just remember Alex McLeish came in as manager and scrapped all the S forms. And there was 9 of us going full time. And he kept Lee McCulloch, the only player out of the 9. So my dreams were shattered then. And I had to go. I left school. At that time, I wanted to be a professional footballer, but I was always looking at being an architect as well if I failed on that. But the opportunity came to go with Queen of the South in League 2. They were part-time at the time, so then I had to get a job. So I went to work in Greaves Sports in Glasgow in Sucky Hall Street. So I was there Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. And then a Tuesday evening and a Thursday evening, I would drive down to Dumfries, train, and then I'd play on the Saturday. Norman Blunt, the chairman at Queen of the South at the time, was amazing. And after the first year, he decided to go full-time at the club full-time. With a great group, it was 12 of us full-time. He put us all in an apartment above his chemist in Dumfries. And the apartment was I think it was 12 of us or 8 of us in that, I can't remember. So we're above his chemist, and next to the chemist there was a bookies. Next door to that there was a bar. Round the corner was the Junction nightclub. Across the road there was a Chinese, there was an Indian, and then just behind that was a snooker club. So at 18 years old, we were, as young lads, full-time footballers, and having all that on your doorstep was amazing. But going back to my debut and stuff, it was just amazing to make your professional debut with Queen of the South. And as you say, I think it was 6 games later, you come on as a sub in the Challenge Cup final. where I think we lost 1-0 to Falkirk. Just incredible to play in a final at such an early stage in my career. I made my debut, I think it was the day after my 18th birthday. So, yeah, it was amazing. Great club. I spent 3 unbelievable years there. Some great experienced pros in the dressing room. Yeah, a really happy time for me. It's good.
Can you remember your first professional goal?
I think it was against Arbroath. I can't remember what it was like. It's probably tapping from 2 yards. I can't remember if I got that high. No, I think it was quite a good goal actually. It's funny because all these challenges that people were sending on Facebook and Instagram. One of my friends I used to play with, Stephen Payne, he actually sent a message reminding me he played in the game. And my goal against Arbroath, and it was my first ever professional goal, saying it was a good strike. So didn't score many.
And then you went on to Aberdeen, 144 appearances for them. How was that for you? How was that first? It must be quite odd, the first sort of big move, I guess, when you've been at one place for so long.
Yeah, so I'd spent 3 seasons at Queen of the South, League Two, and I played well, got Young Player of the Year and stuff. And there's a few clubs interested: Aberdeen, Sheffield Wednesday, Doncaster, a few clubs down south, and a few of the Scottish clubs. But I didn't have an agent at the time. It was Norman Blunt, the chairman, had done the deal with Aberdeen at the time. I was just delighted to go to the Premier League in Scotland, where as a young boy, I was a Celtic fan. I wanted to go and test myself against the top teams in Scotland. It was funny. It was just before the last game of the season, and the chairman pulled me in. Norman Blunt pulled me in and said, on a Thursday, and said, "Look, we've agreed the deal to go to Aberdeen. Are you happy with the personal terms? Do you want to go?" "Yeah, I want to go." He says, "Right, you can't play the last game of the season for us, but you're going in on Monday morning to sign with Aberdeen." So I couldn't play that game, which I was devastated about. And from the Thursday to the Monday morning, I wasn't allowed to tell anyone that I was signing for Aberdeen. It was the longest weekend of my life. So, no, it was amazing. It was a good move. And I was at Aberdeen for 4 years.
Talk to us a little bit about how the agent side of things work. It doesn't often get discussed here, and I'm very interested in it. So, at what point did you then get an agent? At what point does somebody go, "Right, McAllister, you need an agent," or do they come and offer their services to you? Do you go looking? How does it work?
Well, I never had one till I was like, I moved from Aberdeen after 4 years there to Livingston. I played Livingston for a year, and there I worked under Davy Hay was manager, and Alan Preston was one of the coaches there. And after that, he went on to be an agent with Stella, one of the big companies in London. David Manasseh had done the Gareth Bale deal to Real Madrid, and he's got huge clientele now. But yeah, I didn't have an agent until I was 24, 25. And I only went with Alan Preston because I knew him. He had my best interest at heart. It wasn't all about money for him. He was just trying to progress my career and get the next best move for me. So that's why I signed with him. And he obviously working with a big company in Stella and had good advice. So agents nowadays, I think you got some good ones, you got some bad ones. And the ones that are out there for the benefit of the player and try to do the best for the player and find the right club for the player to maximise their ability and maximise their talent are great to work with. But there's others that are just hungry for money for themselves, and that's frustrating. They don't have the player's best interests at heart, which is sad.
It's one of the things that we keep returning to is the money side of things, and I guess when you were starting out, that wasn't necessarily a motivator. Whereas lots of the young kids today will be going, "Oh, I definitely want to be a professional footballer because I get paid, however amount a week."
Yeah, exactly. So is it? Why do you want to get in the game? Do you want to get in the game to win things and be successful and play a lot of games, or do you want to get in for the money? I mean, everyone's motivated by different things, and if that motivates you to go and be at your best, then fair play, because the rewards are there in the game now. It's huge, but for me, it was never that, and it was all about the love of the game and maximising my talent to get to the best level I could and staying there as long as possible. So.
And that success is something that's kind of followed you about a bit. So we talked about Aberdeen and then the Scottish League Cup. So that was a proud moment for you. Have you still got the medal lifting that cup?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I was up in the loft the other day. I've got a big frame with the shirt and the medal, and I had Ruben and Amry up there, my older two kids, showing them all the old kits that players have played against, and all the old kits that I've had from previous clubs that I've got something like 250 kits up there in boxes, and different pictures that are stored up in the loft. I've got like 15 frames of like kits that are players that I admire that I've got framed, and I've never had them up on the wall. So they're just in the loft, gathering dust. But no, that was an amazing achievement. That, but the 4 years I had at Aberdeen was special. I met my wife's from Aberdeen, and the first 2 seasons at Aberdeen, the first season actually, we got to 2 cup finals. We got to the League Cup final and we got the Scottish Cup final, but unfortunately we lost both. And then when you go to Hampden with Livingston, underdogs, then played Hibs in the final. Everyone is expecting us to lose in front of like 55,000, and then to win 2-0 and to score in the final is like everybody's dream, to score at your national stadium in the cup final and lift the League Cup. So yeah, an incredible moment, crazy goal, crazy celebrations, and an even crazier haircut.
What was the hair doing back then?
It was kind of short and spiky with like the mullet at the back, and some beautiful blonde highlights in there. I look like the Tiger King.
And how did you celebrate? What was your celebration? Can you reenact it for us?
Yeah, it was just a knee slide, sliding on my knees, just pointing into the crowd at my family, my wife and mum and dad and that were there, and sister and that. So yeah, an amazing moment.
So Joe Bryan stole the knee slide and the point off you then, essentially?
Yeah, I'm sure it did, yeah.
So from there, Livingston, and whilst you were at Livingston, the call up to Scotland. Can you remember how that happened? Does someone call you and go, "Oh, hi, Jamie, do you want to come and play for your country?" How does that work?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, obviously that's everybody's dream, to play for your country, represent your country. That's a pinnacle for me, to represent the country. So I was at Livingston at the time. We had a really good season. We finished 4th in the league. We got to the League Cup final. And we had a really good young group of players coming through, mixed with experience. And I remember coming out of training, and Davy Hay, the manager at the time, pulled me in the office and said, "Michael, I've had a call from the Scottish national team, and Better Folks wants to call you up to the next game against Trinidad and Tobago." And Davy was like, he's an absolute Celtic legend, one of my heroes growing up, and he was my manager at the time. I thought he was like taking the mick a little bit. And then finished training, got home, and I got a phone call, and it was just incredible. For my dad, for my mum, yeah, really proud moment.
How different is the football? Because of course you only get to train with the national team, rarely, unlike training, week in, week out with your teammates at club level. How much more difficult does that make international football to train for?
Yeah, well, obviously the level was just another level. When I went into training, you're training with the best in the country at the time. Obviously in Scotland it was James McFadden, you got Barry Ferguson there, you got Darren Fletcher, Kenny Miller, so it was a really good group of players at the time, and the standard was just another level, what I'd been used to. So training intensity, the quality was better, and I loved it, to be fair. Really enjoyed it. I got in a lot of squads after that, but I only played once. Only got to play once, but I represent once is enough for me. Half my country, it's just a dream achieved. You know what I mean? So I've been involved in a few big games. Been on the bench and never got on against Argentina, Netherlands, and that was unbelievable when I went to their stadium, and some other like qualifiers and stuff. So being on the bench, desperate to get on, couldn't get on because Gary Naismith was the number 1 left back at the time, and Callum Davison was probably number 2, and I was probably 3rd choice at the time. But yeah, 2 top fullbacks and 2 great lads as well.
But presumably all of that experience, even, being on the bench and not getting on, gives you experience for coaching now and for talking to the lads that are in a, similar position, perhaps on the bench and desperate to get on and play. So I guess all of those experiences have made you the man that you are today, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It just gives you that hunger. You see, when you're sitting on the bench and you're not playing, and you go into stadiums like that, playing against teams like that, and playing against players like Robin van Persie at the Netherlands, at the Amsterdam Arena. I mean, we trained the night before with the roof closed, and it was incredible. And then the next night, you're there and you're playing against one of the best teams in the world. But you're sitting there desperate to get on, can't get on. Envious of the boys on the pitch, obviously wanting to do well. But for me, it just, my desire, my hunger grew to want to be on that stage. I never got a chance to get on it again at that level, but it just made me want to be in the Premier League at the top level. And unfortunately, just missed out on that as well.
And as far as your footballing career then progressed, we had Hearts. I think it was 65 appearances for Hearts. How does the rivalry work in Scotland for those that are unaware? So Glasgow, Aberdeen. How does all of that sort of inter-country rivalry work?
Well, obviously the Glasgow ones, Rangers and Celtic. Obviously they've been competing for titles for the last. Been the two best teams in Scotland for the last 30 years or longer. Aberdeen were close in the 80s. They won a few championships then, a few leagues and cups. And then Hearts and Hibs is the Edinburgh derbies, obviously, two biggest teams in Edinburgh. And the rivalry there is huge. In some of the games, the derbies they would play were brilliant. And I loved them as well. So, yeah, 2 years at Hearts was an amazing time, and played with some top players there also. And we managed to, the second season, we managed to finish second in the league and break that Old Firm dominance. The first time had been split in 15 years, I think. So we finished second. And we won the Scottish Cup that year, which was incredible.
And before you played for all of these clubs, who did you support? You must have supported, a club growing up.
Yeah, I was a big Celtic fan, so my dad used to take me all the Celtic games. Used to love going to Parkhead. Being in the jungle at the time was like this, where you would stand. There was no seats in the jungle, and where everyone would sing all the songs. I mean, the Rebel songs were incredible. So just remember the atmosphere and size of the stadium, the pitch the players were playing at the time. Yeah, I loved going, but I like going to the games, but I'd rather play. I would go with my dad in the night games and stuff at times, and some Saturdays if I wasn't playing, but I'd much rather be playing than watching.
And play you did after Hearts, of course, that majestic move down south. At what point did Bristol City appear on your radar? Had you ever been to Bristol before it was muted?
No, I hadn't. And what it was the second season I was at Hearts, and Lee Johnson joined in January. So the gaffer came in January, and we played together for that 6 months to the end of the season. And during that time, obviously, Lee's dad, Gary, would come and watch him play. We played again a cup game against Aberdeen, and we beat Aberdeen 3-0, and both myself and Lee played and played well. And Gary was at that game, and I think that's the first time he saw me. And then the interest grew from there, really. I had another 2 years left of my contract at the end of that season. There was a lot of politics going on at the time at Hearts, as I'm sure you remember. So many changes in manager. The owner at the time was from Lithuania, Mr. Romanov, and he was an interesting character, put it that way. And we finished the season, I had 2 years left. I had some talks with Hearts that what I was going to do. Did they want to keep me on for 2 years, or would they let me go for a fee? Or and Gary made an approach, and then after that, we few conversations, and then the move happened to Bristol City. So I managed to get the contract there and moved down to Bristol City.
Where did you live when you first moved down? Where did you live?
The first month I stayed in the hotel in College Green, the Marriott Hotel there, and then I got an apartment right on the waterfront for the next 2 months, just across from the SS Great Britain, with my wife and my little boy. Ruben was only 6 weeks old then, so that was the first kid together. And my wife, she was cussing me because we had to move from Scotland. We had 2 years security in Scotland. Obviously, we just gave birth to Ruben, and I've actually moved down to Bristol away from family and friends with our first child, and it was obviously all new to her and a tough time. The first year was really difficult. I would say for myself and wife at home, it was difficult because my wife was struggling. I was looking after Ruben, being away from family, and I was happy going to work. You get 20 new mates right away, and it's like we had a good season. That season got promoted, but it was a tough time at home. Coming home, my wife was finding it difficult. Obviously being at home with the little one and stuff, all new. So every time I come home, she's like, "Right, we're going home every weekend." She's saying, "No, I'm going back home. I don't like it here. I don't want to be here." But no, we stuck it through. Stuck it out, and then we're still here 14 years later. So.
And what were your first impressions? Oh, sorry, go on, Maka.
Yeah, so after the 2 months in the apartment at the SS Great Britain, we bought a house in Long Ashton, and we've been there ever since. So it was like 2006, September 2006, I think. We moved in here, and we're still here now, so 14 years later.
And what were those first impressions of Bristol? Can you remember sort of wandering around? Did it feel like home as soon as you got here? Maybe more so for you rather than your wife, but
yeah, it was all new. It was I had a couple of opportunities when I was at Aberdeen and Livingston to move down south. I had a few offers from different clubs, but always chose to stay at home. And then this one was just too good to turn down, really. Speaking to Gary and obviously playing with Lee, and spoke really well with his dad and his coaching, and the conversations I had with Gary, it just convinced me to come down, and the plan he had in place to take the club where they want to take it. I just thought it was too good to turn down. And when I came to the city and got a look around the city the first couple of days, it was, I mean, it's a beautiful city. Got some great people here, and for me, I was sold on it because of football. I wanted to come down and challenge myself in England. So it was difficult the first year, my wife and that, but we got through it, and fortunate enough, we're still here 14 years later.
So let's talk a little bit about that Johnson connection. So first of all, Gary and Lee, are they similar? Are they like two peas in a pod? Obviously, having worked with and alongside both of them, do they carry family traits?
Yeah, they got a few family traits. Obviously, both winners and both real competitors, and striving to be the best. Gary was just a real good motivator. He was great for me as a player. He knew my strengths and weaknesses, and knew how to push my buttons and get the best out of me. And I think that's what you want from any manager or coach, to understand you as a person, as an individual, and what gets you motivated. Everyone's different, and everyone's motivated in different ways, and you can get how you get the best out of a player as a coach as your job. So Gary was very good at that with me, and Lee, obviously, he's got those similar traits. He's a winner, and he's got a lot of traits of Gary, but he's big on the technology side. He's always wanted to be ahead of the curve, bringing in new technology and more tactical and technical in his detail and stuff like that, I would say, than what Gary was. But Gary was just a great coach, manager, motivator. Could put teams together and just make them successful, which is a great skill.
And you and Gaffer obviously played together as well. Memories of the playing days together?
Yeah, so when we were at Hearts together, Lee came up with Chris Hackett. Chris Hackett came up, who I think he left Millwall to come to Hearts. I might have went to Millwall after that. And they stayed in a hotel at Dalmahoy together. And we just got instantly clicked, the three of us. And we always stay behind and do extras after training, practice free kicks, do extra running, do extra technical stuff. And just built up a real good relationship right away. And Nick, Lee's wife, and my wife Ashley, the same off the pitch. We're very close. And then when I moved to City, Lee moved about a month or two later, and on the pitch we just had real good chemistry off the pitch and on the pitch. Obviously, Lee's a very good footballer, and we're just good friends from then on.
What's he like behind the exterior of the gaffer? I mean, we see a very public Lee Johnson. I'm sure you see a much more personal side to him.
Yeah, just a great person, great human being, thoughtful, friendly, loving, caring, real family man, really funny. Yeah, just a good friend, a good person. I had a podcast the other day with someone, and they were asking me what the gaffer was like, and he was saying back then what he is now. He'd come in one day. He's a man for his gadgets. He loves his gadgets, so we'd come in and we'd be one of the first in and go into the gym and do what they call activation now. We just call it messing about in the gym and doing some weights. And the gaffer will come in and he's go, I've got this new band you put around your knees and it's good for your glutes, it makes you stronger, it'll make me quicker. Or I've got this new gadget, you bring in a new gadget all the time. I'm like, what's this now? He's like, it's going to make me quicker, it's going to make me stronger. He's always like wanting to get that little edge to be better. So yeah, just good times.
Who was the better footballer, you or the gaffer?
Better footballer, Lee. Yeah, better footballer.
And does that relationship that you formed on the pitch now bring an extra element to being able to coach together? Obviously, in your role now as assistant head coach at Bristol City, you kind of have that bond already, I guess.
Yeah, having that bond and having that trust, and being through a lot of things together as players, on and off the pitch with families as well, through different difficulties with friends or family situations that we talk and discuss. When he was my roommate for 6 years at City, so a lot of deep conversations. He won't like me saying this, but we got very emotional at times with each other. And like having Dino in as well, the three of us, just that connection and that. We're just three of us striving to get to the Premier League and to be the best we can be as coaches. Always want to improve, always want to learn, and the trust with each other and knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses, knowing how to push each other, how to get the best out of each other, and just we've all got that goal. We want to be the best. We want to be top coaches. We want to improve players, make them better. We want to get Bristol City in the Premier League. So having those common goals and same work ethic, the same morals and values, I think, as well.
How important are the fans in the good times and the bad times? Obviously, being a player, you kind of expect a little bit of feedback, shall we say? But obviously then when you get into management, that feedback kind of gets worse, doesn't it? Or better?
Yeah, it does. And I love the Bristol City fans. They've been amazing for me. 6 years I played as a player and now come back as a coach. Just seeing them in the streets and going into town, and I mean, fantastic. And all fans are saying they want the best for the club, and they're entitled to voice their opinion when things aren't going well. And you got to take that as a coach, as a player, as a manager. You got to take that on the chin, and it gives you that drive to be successful and together in the good times. Like the good times we share together, getting promoted, getting to the playoff finals, seeing them run on the pitch, seeing their faces, the noise they create at Ashton Gate, when they're singing the songs, that feeling you get makes the hairs in the back of your neck stand up when you come out and you hear the fans sing the songs, and it's amazing. And you want to reward them, you want to give them special memories, and you want to get this great club, to the Premier League.
Which is better, getting that feeling on the back of your neck from the fans when you're a player, or getting that feeling on the back of your neck when you're a coach?
For me, as a player, just walking out and hearing that noise, yeah. That celebrating after the game, after a win. It's special as a coach, but as a player, as a group of lads, when you've worked all week in training, you put that hard work in, and then at the end of a Saturday or a Tuesday night game, and you get the 3 points, and that winning feeling, that noise when the final whistle goes with the fans and celebrate. I mean, go back to that night the Crystal Palace games and stuff like that, and getting promoted to the Rotherham game, fans invading the pitch, and just seeing all the fans and all the people we speak to on the street, the joy and the jubilation on their faces and stuff, and how much it means to them, and the sacrifices they make to come to every game, and the expense it costs them. It's just, you want to reward them with wins and with successful campaigns.
You talked about those fantastic successes, that Crystal Palace two-legged playoff. And then, of course, 86,000 people, 40,000 Bristolians when we travelled to Wembley to face Hull. Can you remember how you would sort of prepare for a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, the diligence went into that with Gary's plan, and we went down like 4 days before, I think. Game was on the Saturday, I think it was, we went down on the Wednesday. We had a tour of the pitch on the Thursday. Everything was meticulously planned, and to go and look at the stadium and see the dressing rooms and take it all in and appreciate it, and then look forward to it on the Saturday. And on the Thursday, we'd done the tour, and the Thursday night I went home, and my wife phoned me, and she says, I just took a pregnancy test, and it's positive. So she was saying that was my oldest daughter, Emily. So she was telling me that she was pregnant. So on the Thursday night,
wow,
I'd been at Wembley, had the tour, and my wife just told me she's pregnant with a second child. So I'm thinking, this is the weekend. It's going to be the best weekend in our lives. It's going to be amazing. And then come the game, the fans and the atmosphere, and it was amazing. It was incredible. But the Friday night, I don't know if you know, before the game, there was a lot of players went down with sickness and diarrhea. So I think the fire alarm went off at 5 a.m. There was like myself, Brian Wilson, I think it was, Bradley Orr, Jamie McAllister, a few others had sickness, diarrhea. Were up most of the night, didn't sleep very well. Big McAllister didn't make the game because he was too ill. I think Brian Wilson missed the game as well. I think he was too ill. Was he joined after that? Someone else maybe. Yeah, so a lot of things that went on the night before the game. But when you get to the stadium, you see the fans and like driving up Wembley Way, and it's just seeing all the fans and the stadium in front of you, and then walking on the pitch, like unbelievable feeling. And then to have it taken away, it was devastating.
What do you remember about that moment when Dean Windass struck that volley?
I just remember in the game that we had a lot of chances in the game. They blocked a few on the line. As if it was meant to be. We created a lot of chances, didn't have that killer instinct in front of goal. And the goal itself was an unbelievable finish. Technique and execution from Dean Windass. I just remember Bradley Orr had broke his jaw about 2 minutes before that. And he was in a bad way. He couldn't really see properly. He was all over the place. It was a real bad injury. And I remember the ball going wide and getting cut back to Windass. And then Brad was going to the ball, so I thought I'd come inside beside Bassel. And the ball would just whiz past Brad's face. I don't even know if he saw it. But the technique of Windass to execute the way he did in a moment like that, and an occasion like that, it pains me to say it, but it's enough to win any game, isn't it? That goal. It was a great strike. But we played against them in the 10-year reunion, and although it doesn't help, all their players that played against us that day were saying we couldn't believe we won the game. You were the better team. That strike was the only bit of quality we showed on the day, and it doesn't make it any easier. It makes it worse actually. But yeah, it was a great strike. Absolutely heartbreaking.
How long does it take to get over an occasion like that, so close to Premier League football? Is it a long process? Do you just have to, set it down and off you go? Because, a lot of it is mental, I guess, as well.
Yeah, it was tough. When the final whistle went and you realised you were 90 minutes away from getting to the Premier League, seeing all the fans like crying in the crowd and disappointment and the heartbreak, and crying like myself, Trons and I were all crying on the pitch, because you feel as if you let everyone down, and will we reach those heights again? That's your thoughts, thinking we've got to do better next year. We've got to get back here and go next level. We've got to get the next step. But we obviously get the parties planned after it and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it's tough mentally to get over that. It was a tough summer that to then come back and try and not erase it from your mind, but use it as motivation and use it as we want to go on those stairs, lifting that trophy if it is through the playoffs, or can we do it automatic? We want that feeling of getting to the Premier League. So it drives you and gives you that mental resilience and toughness to go, I want to get there again. I want the feeling of winning and being successful and that not being not losing in that situation. So yeah, it's tough mentally. It was a tough summer, but to come back and go again, show the spirit in our group and the group of players we had, we want to go and push again and achieve that.
Do you think that experience is part of the reason now as a coach you are so keen on achieving top flight football at Bristol City?
Yeah, I just feel for the club, but what Steve Lansdowne and Lansdowne family's created here, the club's all set up, the training ground, the academy, the stadium now is a Premier League stadium, the facilities and the infrastructure that Steve and his family have put in place gives us a platform now to take the club to the next level. And all of our staff and coaches, all the background staff and all the players, we all want to get Bristol City to the Premier League. So we're hoping these 9 games resume and we can go and achieve that.
Oh God, let's hope. Let's hope. You talked very briefly earlier on about maybe being an architect if football didn't work out for you. With an architect's eyes, what do you think of Ashton Gate and the redevelopment?
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad at all. Yeah, and the plans, I mean, you've seen the plans for the new arena as well outside, behind the Lansdowne stand. Phenomenal stadium. I didn't expect it to be so good, but to be fair, the architect and the designers done an incredible job. And it's a great place to go and play football. And I mean, some of the nights we've had there since it's been up, Man City, Man United, never to be forgotten. And seeing the sights on those occasions and those nights, you want that every weekend and every second or third Tuesday to play against those teams in that arena. It deserves it. So fans deserve it. Steve Lansdowne and the rest of the board and that we all deserve to be Premier League, but you've got to earn it.
True. And whilst we're talking about building, of course, the new training ground is temptingly close now. That must provide an exciting opportunity for you to develop that next stage of coaching in a super fantastic environment.
Yeah, the plan's incredible, and the pitches and what's going to be the facility we're going to have, the change rooms for the lads, the gym the lads are going to have, the recovery pools, the offices for all the staff to be together. And I mean, what we've got now, the pitches we've got, the groundsmen do an unbelievable job there, Sparks and Joe and that. I think the groundsmen do an unbelievable job with the pitches. Pitches are first class. But to attract players, to have that facility there as a training ground, where the buildings getting put in place and the new pitches getting put in place, and for the academy lads to see that and to be on the same site and to see where they could train, the facility can be in, and then go and play at Ashton Gate. It's just, that's, as a young player coming through, seeing that, you only want to be on that pitch and testing yourself at that level. And players, when they come to sign, it's another marketing tool to bring them in, to have a good training facility, good working conditions and good, unbelievable stadium. So yeah, it's just the next level. It's, as I say, the club's flying forward, and we want to get it in the Premier League because the facilities are there, or will be there in time.
Exciting times ahead. Let's head back to your career. And of course, 210 appearances for City, 4 goals. How would you sort of sum up your playing career for Bristol City, for our club?
Probably the best 6 years of my career I've ever had. The players I played with, the group of players we had over those 6 years, and management staff, people behind the scenes, was just an incredible group. So special. A lot of really fond memories and special times. And now as a coach coming back, I couldn't wait to get back. When the opportunity came, it was tough to turn down. Although I was still fit enough to play and I love playing, I just wanted to be back at the club and help and produce and nurture and develop young talent to play at Ashton Gate and to be part of those special nights and special days at Ashton Gate and get this club to where they should be and where we all want to be. So, yeah, some great memories, played with some great people, met some great friends. I still stay in touch with a lot of them now and memories that will be there forever. So, yeah, it's home for us, as I say. It's Bristol and Bristol City's a big part of our life.
Do you have like a former players WhatsApp group? Are you what level of banter do you old boys still perform at?
Yeah, we just now and then, just phone calls or WhatsApp. So if there's a charity game coming up, we're playing in a bit of banter. Those are great times as well, meeting up with the lads again and having just reminiscing of what the good times were like and sharing some good memories on and off the pitch. So friends for life.
Who are those main characters in your life from the past? Is there sort of 3 or 4 or 5 people that you keep in more regular contact with than others?
Yeah, so many. I mean, Jamie McAllister, Bradley Orr, Lewis Carey, Scotty Murray still here, obviously Gaffer's still here. Liam Fontaine, Phil Jevons, David Noble, Alex Russell. Never had any bad eggs. We never had a bad egg in the group, and that's what made us a real team. We probably weren't the most talented team in the world, but God, we had winners in the team, and we'd done everything we could to win a game, and we were hard to beat, honest, hard-working, pushed each other in training every day, demanded off each other, were relentless in being successful and trying to prove everyone wrong. I suppose we were kind of not mostly underdogs all the time, but we weren't the most, how can I say it, flash or. We played some good football, some great football, but probably no real stars in the team. With some great players, but we were a real team. It wasn't about the individuals, it was about the team.
And at what point through all of this do you have the seed in your head that coaching might be your thing? So after Bristol City, there was a bit of time at Preston and then obviously down to Yeovil again with Gary. At what point in this stage of your career are you thinking, hold on a second, I might be a coach here?
Well, I was actually at Bristol City. One of the coaches came in and offered to go on a B licence. Myself, Lee, David James, and a few others decided to take it up and started a B licence then. So I was 33, I think, when I started doing my badges. Started doing a bit of the academy then. Went on to do my A licence. Was still playing and still doing bits at the academy. Even when I was at Yeovil and stuff like that, I would do a Monday and a Wednesday night with Alex Ball, actually, with the 14s and 15s. And then his group was like George Dyle and Joe Morrell, Lloyd Kelly and stuff like that. So I was still doing that. So I started really coaching when I was like 32, 33. I was doing like a couple of nights a week at City when I was still playing the last 5-6 years of my career. I set up a little coaching academy that I'd done GMC soccer schools that I would do with this ribbon school at Budwell Primary on a Monday and a Thursday after school. I'd done that for 2 years. And then I just help out down at Exeter, help out at Yeovil and stuff, do coaching on the side there as well. So it was something that I had a real keen interest in it from 32, 33, really. Getting to understand the game more, different styles, formations, and just playing with young players as well. Then I suppose trying to improve young players. I played with a lot of young players at Yeovil when I was captain down there. Tom Lawrence played in front of me. He was on loan at Man United. Talking him through games, trying to improve him, make him better. Shane Duffy came on loan from Everton's now at Brighton. young Luke Ayling, but he was young then. Joe Edwards and stuff. So, and at the time at City with Joe Bryan and Bobby Reid coming through, so you're always wanting to help the younger players and pass on your experience and your knowledge to make sure they were successful.
You actually made it into Joe Bryan's ultimate team. He was doing another podcast that I was listening to, and you were named.
Joe knows his stuff. He knows his players.
You spent a bit of time out in India, out in the Super League as well. That must have been a very different experience. You talked about moving the family to Bristol. Did the family come to India as well, or did they stay in Long Ashton whilst you were out there?
No, well, I was going to spent a week up in Kilmarnock when I left Yeovil, and I was going to sign in Kilmarnock. So I flew up to sign on a Sunday night. I was in the hotel on a Sunday night, ready to sign on a Monday morning, and David James phoned me saying, "Look, you fancy coming out to India with me? I've got the job out in India. I want you to be my player assistant." And I said, "I don't know if the wife will be happy with that. She's not happy. I'm going to Scotland for a year because what we're going to do, my wife and the kids are going to stay in Bristol, and I was going to commute up and down to Kilmarnock to play for a year." And David James said, "Look," I said, "well, we've got to work with this. How it's going to be. It's inaugural season, Super League. There's these players coming in, like Trezeguet, Del Piero, Anelka." So I thought, all right. I think I phoned Ashley at 11:30 on a Sunday night and said, "Babe, look, got good news for you. I'm not going to go up to Scotland for a year. I'm actually going to go to India for 4 months, if you don't mind." So she wasn't best pleased with that, but came back. I went to Kilmarnock and told the manager at the time I wasn't going to sign. Flew back home on a Monday, negotiated the contract, and then within a month I was out in India. But what I'd done was I didn't leave Ashley at home with 4 kids. I got her mum down 4 months to stay with her while I was in India. And over that 4 months I was there, my wife and Ashley's mum and the kids came out for 2 weeks, which was an unbelievable experience. But now to go there to work with a squad of like 30 players, 15 were Indian players and 15 were internationals from all over the world. So a couple of Brazilian, Spanish, Argentinians, South African, Canadian, a few different nationalities, which a real challenge. And we were on the grass every day, and I was player coach with Trevor Morgan, doing all the training, organising all the training, and obviously David James was the manager. So that was my first real experience, the first team, and coaching and preparing the team for games and stuff like that.
And then the move back to the Southwest. Obviously, Ashley was already here with the kids. There was a bit of Exeter City, and then, of course, under 23s at Bristol City. Talk us through how you managed to wheedle your way back in Ashton Gate.
Well, I had 18 months at Exeter. Paul Tisley was brilliant for me. He brought me back, and I played there for 18 months. And he's wanted to put me in the coaching side of it as well. He was happy to bring me into the academy. But I wanted to keep playing. So at the end of that season, I had a choice to kind of continue playing there or offer from Newport as well to play. I was 38. I always had in my head I wanted to play till I was 40. Peter Pan, really. I was still fit and able. But I had the opportunity. Lee phoned me and just said, "Look, under 18s manager's jobs came available. Would you be interested in taking the 18s manager's job?" So I had a meeting with Lee and Mark Ashton to discuss that, and I was keen to do that. And the next day, I'd pretty much accepted to do that, and I got a phone call from the gaffer saying, "Look, the 23s jobs just became available. Would you fancy taking 23s rather than 18s?" And I was buzzing because it was obviously it failed close to the first team, and yeah, too good to turn down, really. So I'd have been very selfish to continue playing. I could have played probably League Two for the next couple of years and played till I was 40, but that'd have been just for me. It would have been the best for my family. The next 20, 30 years, hopefully, I want to be a coach. And that was the opportunity to get in back at Bristol City. As I say, the club that means the most to me, and to work with Lee and get back in. So it was too good to turn down.
And then the natural progression from the 23s, obviously, to first team and to being sat or stood next to Lee on that touchline at Ashton Gate every other week. It's sort of a bit of a dream come true, Macca, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you're trying to get me to cry here. Yeah, that 7 months I spent with 23 was unbelievable. Love working with younger players, making them improve and getting better. And then the opportunity came to go up with the first team the last 10 games of the season. It was unbelievable. Standing on the touchline with Dino and the gaffer, preparing for first team games and the championship. It's special. So yeah, and then last 3.5 years it's gone so quick. It's just still loving it every day. Love working with the players, love working with the staff we've got. And I keep saying, I want that ultimate dream to be in the Premier League.
Right, take us through some of the boys. I've got a list of quickfire here. So the first player that comes to your mind from the current playing squad, we'll start with quickest.
Callum O'Dowda.
Most skillful.
Cool. Nicholas Eliasson.
Nice. Most natural talent.
Jamie Patterson.
Most, I don't know why I'm laughing about that. Most aggressive.
Nathan Baker.
Don't get on the wrong side of bakes. Who's teacher's pet?
Andy Vyman's teacher's pet.
Why is Andy Vyman teacher's pet?
Because he's so switched on, he's so clever. Anything you ask, he'll do it. He's great guy. Great guy.
I don't know why, but from my viewpoint on the touchline, I'd have thought Rennie Gilmartin was going to be teacher's pet. He's got a lot to say for himself as well.
Yeah, I suppose. Up there as well.
Who is most likely to go into coaching?
Corey Smith, Bailey Wright.
Okay, nice. The funniest?
Funniest, that's got to be Paddle. Comedian.
That's the tag he usually gets, yeah, for sure. And if you were stuck on an island, which player would you want with you?
Oh, that's a tough one. None of them will take my wife.
Rightly so. Time is against us. I could sit and talk to you, Macca, for hours and hours. It's nice to get you for a bit. Obviously, Bristol is now your home. Unfortunately, at the moment, due to the current circumstances, your recently opened coffee shop in the old library can't open at the moment. But just tell us briefly how that business came about.
Yeah, that's closed down, obviously, but that's something myself and my wife have been trying to get going for the last 7-8 years. It's a big passion of my wife. She's always wanted to open one, so we managed to get that plot to get the rent on that for the next 15 years. So yeah, it's myself and my wife's little baby, and it's unfortunate it's had to close down at the moment. But there's more important things going on in the world. It's important everyone looks after each other, looks after their families, enjoy that time together, stay safe and stay healthy.
Well, hopefully at some point in the very near future, we'll all be down at the old library in Long Ashton having a bit of a cup of tea and a coffee and a catch-up. But for the moment, thank you very much. I must congratulate you on some fantastic interior design, by the way. Loving the colour coordination with your attire as well as your living room.
You can see my wife dresses me as well, can't you?
Macca, it's been a pleasure chatting. Hopefully we'll get back to football very, very soon, and I'll see you in a tracksuit rather than a grey All Saints jumper.
Pleasure, Downsy. Thanks very much. Stay safe, guys. Look after each other.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. Assistant head coach Jamie McAllister on his sofa there in his house, as we both mentioned. Please make sure you're staying safe and protecting our NHS, only going out for those essential reasons, whether it be for essential food, for medication, or indeed if you are one of our key workers. And once again, thank you to everybody at Ashton Gate for the incredible work they're putting in to help all of the charities and all of those people that are in need of assistance during these difficult times. So another podcast next week, fingers crossed, God willing, and we'll all be here again from our homes for another episode of The Robin's Nest. But from Macca and I for now, see you in a bit.